داخل مركز فاطمة بنت مبارك للأورام في كليفلاند كلينك أبوظبي تتبلور اليوم منظومة رعاية متكاملة مبنية على العمل متعدد التخصصات. المركز يجمع فرقاً طبية من مؤسسات عالمية مع تقنيات تشخيص وعلاج حديثة في بيئة صممت خصيصاً لاحتياجات المرضى في الإمارات والمنطقة لتقديم رعاية متقدمة دون الحاجة للسفر إلى الخارج.
You're in Fátima bint Mubárak Center at Cleveland Clinic Abu Dhabi, which is a very unique place that we started building back in 2019. We've been open 2.5 years. We've built what we call a cancer center here at Fátima bint Mubárak Center, which is one center which is entirely focused on the multidisciplinary care of patients with cancer. And we have done this in a way that is specifically designed to address the needs of patients in this region. So not only have we brought together the best technology in the world, we've started to attract some of the best talent from leading centers in the world to come and work here. And we've created a very safe and comfortable environment for patients in this region to address their care needs when they have been diagnosed with cancer. When it comes to cancer care, great facility which we have is important, great technology. But really at the essence of it is teams of doctors and nurses working together. These days, not just focused on cancer in general, but we have teams specifically focused on different disease types. And these teams of experts really form the nidus of what we do for patients here. It starts with getting the diagnosis correct, staging patients correctly, and then having the teams work together to design personalized care plans for patients who've been diagnosed with cancer. And all that can happen right here in this center.
ومن بين أبرز التطورات هنا العمل على إنشاء مركز متخصص للعلاج بالأيونات الثقيلة، وهي تقنية تعد الجيل الأحدث في علاج الأورام باستخدام الإشعاع. هذا النوع من الإشعاع يتميز بالقدرة على استهداف الورم بدقة عالية وبفعالية أكبر مقارنة بالأساليب التقليدية، ما يجعله خياراً مهماً للمرضى الذين يحتاجون إلى علاج إشعاعي متقدم. وجود هذه التقنية في أبوظبي يضع المركز ضمن نخبة قليلة حول العالم توفر هذا المستوى من العلاج.
So there's been a decision made, and we're now moving forward with plans for what's called a heavy ion facility right here in Abu Dhabi at Cleveland Clinic Abu Dhabi Fátima bint Mubárak Center. And heavy ion is really the next and latest generation of radiation technology. The center here will be the 15th heavy ion facility in the world. And what's remarkable about heavy ion therapy is that it's the most precise form of radiation. And it also not only is precise, but is more effective than any other type of radiation in treating cancer. And radiation therapy is for many patients an important part of their treatment. So it won't be just surgery and or chemotherapy, but also radiation therapy. And being it's such an important modality, it's critical that we offer our patients the latest and most effective and precise form of radiation to ensure their best recovery and outcomes from treatment. So we firmly believe that the best cancer care is not provided by one doctor or two doctors. It's provided in a team-based environment, and that's what we've really cultivated here, is a team-based approach to care. And the teams that we have are very focused in 11 different disease areas. And so we'll have teams of lung cancer doctors and doctors in colorectal cancer and doctors in gynecologic cancers working together to help address specifically the treatment of patients with certain diseases. And the way this functionally happens is on one given day, a patient may not be seen by just one doctor. They may be seen by multiple doctors on one day because most patients with cancer need the help of different specialties. And we try to bring those doctors together very early in the process so patients can have their treatment plan formulated from a holistic perspective. We also have weekly tumor boards where, for instance, the lung cancer team will meet once a week and discuss every new patient with lung cancer. So the patient won't just have the opinion of one or two doctors, they'll have the opinion of an entire team of doctors who can provide checks and balances and recommendations for ideas about how to optimize a patient's care.
ومع تقدم أساليب العلاج أصبح دور التكنولوجيا محورياً في تشخيص السرطان ومتابعته، فالمركز يستخدم أنظمة الذكاء الاصطناعي التي تساعد الأطباء أثناء قراءة الصور الطبية للتأكد من اكتشاف الأورام في مراحل مبكرة، وتعمل أيضاً كأداة مساعدة خلال إجراءات التنظير دراسة أي تغيرات قد تتحول لاحقاً إلى سرطان.
Yeah, so technology more and more is playing an important part in the modern delivery of all care, but specifically cancer care. And we've already started to incorporate artificial intelligence into a lot of what we do here on a daily basis. And I'll give you several examples of that. One is when our radiologists are reading x-rays, imaging studies, in many cases, alongside an expert, well-experienced radiologist, will be an artificial intelligence system which is helping guide that radiologist to the proper diagnosis and the detection of cancer at the most early stage. And studies have shown that using such a system really improves the ability of the doctor to make a diagnosis and correctly identify when a patient actually has cancer. In our colonoscopy suites, every day when a patient comes to get a cancer screening test for colon cancer called colonoscopy, the gastroenterologist who's performing the procedure is being aided by an artificial intelligence system, which is another set of eyes to detect precancerous lesions that then can be addressed at the earliest stage to prevent the development of cancer. And then finally, in radiation oncology, we have what's called adaptive radiation therapy that's used every day, where a patient's treatment plan is redone every day using artificial intelligence to make the radiation more effective and more accurate than ever possible before, which is improving outcomes and reducing side effects of treatment.
إلى جانب العلاج يواصل المركز متابعة المرضى بعد التعافي عبر برنامج الحياة الممتدة الذي يركز على أسلوب الحياة، التغذية، النشاط البدني والدعم الاجتماعي. هذه المرحلة أصبحت جزءاً أساسياً من الرعاية الحديثة، مع ازدياد عدد المرضى الذين يعيشون لسنوات أطول وبصحة أفضل بعد العلاج.
So these days patients are living longer and healthier lives after cancer treatment because cancer treatment has improved so much. We now have more effective treatments than ever, and the treatments are having less side effects than ever. So people are living longer than ever with cancer. So we want to continue to take care of patients after a cancer diagnosis. So we developed a longevity program here in the Cancer Center, which is specifically focused on patients' well-being after cancer treatment. And that is, how do patients empower themselves through lifestyle, dietary choices, weight management, activity levels, socialization, to optimize their long-term outcome beyond just the very specific details of their cancer.
ويؤكد الدكتور غروبماير أن ما يميز التجربة في أبوظبي هو البيئة الداعمة للابتكار، أي التعاون بين المركز، دائرة الصحة والجهات الحكومية.
This is a very special place, and it's one of the reasons so many of us like working in this environment. In our life and in our career, we want to have impact. And there's been a recognition, it seems, from the government and the Department of Health and many other groups that support our hospital here, that the future really exists in creating this environment and creating an environment where you have the best technology and the best people working together. And what this creates is not only now a first-class and world-class place for patients to receive care, but we're creating an environment of what we think is innovation. Innovation represents the next generation of cancer treatment. And it's this type of investment and recognition of the importance of these components that really makes this a special place. An example of that is the Emirati Genome Project. So the government here, more than 5 years ago, invested in what's now become one of the largest national genome projects in the world. And we're actively working with the Emirati Genome Project now to deliver genomic-based healthcare to patients here every day. And that's just one example of many of how the government, Department of Health, and places like Cleveland Abu Dhabi are working together to really transform how cancer care is delivered.
ومع توسع الخدمات والتقنيات يبقى الطاقم التمريضي جزءاً محورياً من رحلة المريض يومياً، فالتمريض يعتمد على متابعة دقيقة للحالة، التحقق من الآثار الجانبية وتثقيف المريض بخطوات العلاج.
In the Oncology Infusion Centre, it's really important to have strong trained nurses and to make the patients feel comfortable. Compared to normal infusion centres, obviously patients are coming quite regularly. They're having medications that can sometimes be toxic, and we have to do thorough assessments, make sure the patients, don't have any toxicities that would stop treatment. and it's very nurse-led. So we have the physicians who will see the patient, they will sign all of the orders and clear them for treatment, but in the way of making sure the patient's journey is smooth, double checking labs, double checking toxicities. It's really mainly on the registered nurses that are here. I think compared to other places, we are really thorough with education and making sure that even new nurses and current nurses are continuously having training on new medications. The dynamics of oncology these days is that there's a lot of new medications that are being introduced regularly. So it's so important that we work as a multidisciplinary team with the pharmacy, with the education team, with the physicians to make sure these nurses have the correct training on the new medications, they feel confident to give them. And this really reflects in the confidence that patients have in us as they feel that we are caring for them well, and really that they're having a smooth process. As I said, they come quite regularly. So we want them to feel safe and cared for. So here at Cleveland Clinic Abu Dhabi in our Oncology Infusion Centre, we really focus on world-class patient care. We want the patients to be able to have their treatment here and not need to travel abroad. So the role of the nurse here is to really educate the patients, make them feel comfortable during their treatment, communication really to smooth out the workflow to make sure all of their appointments line up together, that they feel no stress, and that when they come to us, they're not stressed, they're not worried about things like appointments or what they're going to do next. They're here just to come and have their treatment. They feel safe with us and confident in what we do. Here at the Infusion Centre in Cleveland Clinic, we really focus on patient first philosophy. So we actually have a support group that we started, and the aim of the support group is to introduce patients to each other. They can discuss any side effects they're having, treatment that they're having, and really have a connection with someone going through a similar experience. And this was something that we felt was kind of missing when patients were coming. They were saying, is there any support groups or anything that we can join? So it was something that we thought was very important for safe patient care, and so that they feel like they're holistically supported here.
كل ذلك ينعكس أيضاً على المشهد الاقتصادي، فبدلاً من سفر المرضى إلى أوروبا أو الولايات المتحدة، بات بالإمكان الحصول على رعاية متقدمة داخل الإمارات، ما يقلل التكاليف ويدعم نمو السياحة العلاجية.
One of the greatest advantages in terms of the economy is, I think historically in this region, when patients had complex healthcare needs, not just in the UAE but in the surrounding countries, patients would immediately travel to London or United States or certain parts of Asia for care. And I think there's a growing recognition that that's no longer necessary. So the cost of providing care here, outstanding care here by teams of experts with the best technology, it certainly has an economic impact. The other thing we're being recognized for in the region, and we're seeing every year an increasing number of international patients coming to the UAE for care, is that it's driving medical tourism here, and people are coming because they can't get care elsewhere in the region. They realize that the care they get here is really among the best in the world. And so it's driving patients here. Dawn, in fact, when we started building this center, we to this day rely heavily on what we call our Patient Family Advisory Council. And instead of just putting a U.S. cancer center right here in Abu Dhabi, we were very thoughtful from the very beginning to incorporate the input of patients and their families who are from this region. And it had a big impact on the design of this facility. In fact, had a big design on this room we're sitting in and many other aspects of the hospital, because the needs and desires of patients from different parts of the world are different. And we felt and still feel very compelled to address those as we provide care here. But if patients can get care close to home, they can get more timely care. So it's not traveling to another part of the world and starting over. They get the care they need right away. And after most cancer treatment, patients go home. They may come here for an infusion part of their treatment, and then they go home. But to be able to go to your house where your family and your own food and your own environment and your own place to stay and sleep makes patients much more comfortable and relaxed, and reduces their stress level. And we firmly believe that patients who are in a less stressful environment will have a better outcome from their treatment.
وبهذا التكامل بين التكنولوجيا المتقدمة والعمل الطبي متعدد التخصصات والدعم التمريضي اليومي، يقدم مركز فاطمة بنت مبارك للأورام في كليفلاند كلينك أبوظبي نموذجاً واضحاً لرعاية تمتد من التشخيص الدقيق إلى متابعة المريض بعد التعافي. هذا النهج جعل الحصول على علاج متطور داخل الدولة خياراً عملياً وأكثر راحة للمرضى دون الحاجة للسفر إلى مراكز خارجية. ومع إدخال تقنيات جديدة مثل العلاج بالأيونات الثقيلة والطب الجيني، تواصل كليفلاند كلينك أبوظبي وأبوظبي عموماً ترسيخ موقعهما كمركز إقليمي للرعاية المتقدمة وتطوير الجيل المقبل من علاجات السرطان.